Hi and welcome along to another video. We're going to take a look through some recent finds. I went to a radio auction yesterday. I've got a bench full at the moment, so just have a quick look at what we've got here. We've got a Roberts R900 here. That's been a recent fix. There wasn't much wrong with it, to be fair. It worked okay, just needed a general service. One of the electrolytics, I don't know whether you can see that. One of the electrolytics was slightly bulged, so I've replaced that, but it's probably hard to pick up. It's very slightly domed, and that was easy. And I've just put some Danish oil on the end, just 2 coats of Danish oil. And then in front of us here in bits we've got a Roberts R606MB. And I know someone was after the 2 amplifier transistors the other day, but he can't have them, and he's got new ones anyway because I need them. The amp transistors are here. Nothing wrong with this, just a little bit of switch cleaning needed. And once again I've got the case, it's just had a first coat of Danish oil on it. Nothing special. And the Rexine still to clean up. And what I'd like to do is use the cabinet scraper on the sides here, just to get, you know, sand it down, and then just use a cabinet scraper. And all that is a sheet of hardened steel, really, or spring steel. And you put a burr on the edge here, and it takes off a very, very fine shaving on each pass. So that's a marbles one, and you can also get like a different shaped one, more of a curved one for doing legs and things on chairs, but I'll just use this square one for now. So that's it. So I've got a bench full. I've got a few more things to show you, so let me get these out of the way and I'll get something else on the table. Right, here's the next thing. This is a Polar T1500 fault locator. This is used in production facilities for testing PCBs and things. The idea is you have 2 boards the same and you try and compare them, which is why it's got an A and a B socket there. I've got it on A at the moment, and as you can see it's rather like a small oscilloscope. In fact, you can move the trace up and down here, well, you could do if my hand wasn't in the way. So we're just going to have a look at it. The operating manual for this is not available online. There's not a lot of information about how to use it specifically, and if you went to Polar and asked for a copy of the operator's manual, it's going to cost you 50 quid. So as I'm not paying that, that's substantially more than I paid for this, I'm going to have to fiddle about and try and work it out for myself. Now, I've had this on for 15 minutes last night when I got home. I've had it on for a couple of minutes now, and I've got a Roberts R606MB power supply here, which I'll put in frame. And this seems to be like one of those curve tracer things, at least to my limited knowledge at the moment. Let's just go across here. As you can see, if you're familiar with a curve tracer, you'll know what it does. So you can see you've got a bit of a knee there, and for a capacitor it should show a circle like that. So the idea is, I think you'd compare various nodes around your 2 PCBs in a production operation, and if there was a fault on one PCB, you compare it to a known good one. But for now, I'm just going to see, that's a straight resistance there on that fuse. There's another resistor here that you can see. So I think that's the general idea. If anyone knows or has practical experience of using this, I'm just going to go across a diode here. If I can get it, there we go. there's a diode, so obviously this regulator is also a diode here. So that's just a quick look at that. I'll maybe do another video of it when I've learned how to use it. So information on how to actually use it in fault finding is a little bit hard to come by, but I've seen them mentioned on the internet. It's a very expensive piece of test gear. Polar is a very expensive company to buy from. Right, moving on. Right, and here's the next bit of gear I bought. This is a National Panasonic DR28 all-band radio. I won't tell you how much I paid for it because it was ridiculous, and you'll probably want to go and jump off a cliff, but it wasn't a lot at all. It is fully working. I tried it last night. Let's give it a whirl.
Do you accept that as a process?
Now, I can immediately see,
we've lost the conference phase.
You might not pick it up on the video,
it's very disappointing. I think a number of different factors
the light
went
is
into
fading
that.
in and out.
Momentum
the sound.
decided at the last minute it was going to whip its delegates against our motion. Obviously, the unions, despite unison,
And I suspect
bravely
there's either a failing electrolytic in the amplifier or in the power supply somewhere, because it's obviously drawing
we've had
some
this
current.
Mike, I'm just conscious of time. I just want to put this to you because I guess this is what
Now,
your greatest fear.
Let's
actually,
just turn it off. Now, as you can see, it's got a digital frequency counter as well as the dial here. So, and it's also got a tuning indicator, of course. So there's a dial which is driven by a belt running up around here, and if you pull this button out, it goes really slow. Now this thing is quite dirty and needs a good service, but yeah, it's a very nice radio, and it's also, I think it's got a problem with the volume control, but I don't want to play about with it too much because, as I say, there might be a failing electrolytic inside, which, if it goes, might do the set some harm. But I think it's definitely got some volume control issues. That's without the aerial up. It doesn't seem very responsive on the bass and treble either, so I suspect there is something in the amplifier section. Now it's got, let's turn it off a minute. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wave bands, so FM, medium wave, 4 short wave bands. There's a BFO here, which you can turn on and off. It's got a RF gain here, so local and far away. Bass, treble, volume, power, lights on and off, and it's got an IF bandpass filter here, either wide or narrow. You've got your regular analog tuning scale there, and it's got a digital frequency counter there, which you can, frequency meter, which you can turn on or off. For shortwave 2 and 4, it's got a calibration thing there. I don't know quite what that does. I need to read the manual. But yeah, an absolute bargain. The aerial is in perfect condition. It's a very long aerial, so I won't get it all in shot. There's a handy webbing strap there. A little bit of knocking on these metal things, on these metal sort of arm things, whatever they are there. And I'm not sure whether that's dirt or, yeah, it's not. It's sticky tape or something. All the knobs need a good old clean. There's no damage on the back or anything, there's no bad scratches. There's the back. So it's also called an RF-2800B, and I guess the B is like the European version. There's connections here for FM and AM antenna, and there's a battery compartment here which takes 6 D cells, and it's still got the little earphone thing in there. So as you can see, it's absolutely filthy, and it needs a good clean first, and it needs a good service inside. This is not something that I want to take to bits too much, because I guess the digital frequency meter here and this are tied in somehow, and they might be an absolute pig to align again if you were to take the belt off and move the tuning gang and stuff. So I'm going to have to be really careful about that one. Right, so that's Panasonic DR28 or 2800B. Yeah, very nice. Next, and here's the next thing. Right, does anyone know what this is? I bet my American viewers know what this is. This is a very rare set in the UK. I've never seen another one over here. Right, this is... Anyone in the UK want to guess? Come on, you can guess. Here it comes. It's a Zenith TransOceanic H500 from made in the USA. I think this dates between 1951 and 1953. Not 100% sure on that. I'm no Zenith expert, and I'd really like it if any of our US friends can tell me a little bit more about it and how to date it. This didn't cost me a lot of money at all in in comparison to its rarity and general loveliness over here. These are quite collectible sets, especially in the States. Right, let's flip this catch. Now, before I do, this is, wait for it, a battery portable set. You can plug it into mains, or mains of 115 volts anyway. You can't plug it into mains over here, and it runs off a 90 volt battery, so it is a battery valve set. So let's open it up and have a look. Whoa. Now, I had a quick 10-minute look at this last night, and it has got some issues. Now, when this came up for auction, the auctioneer just said something like, oh, there's a Zenith TransOceanic up next, and I thought he meant one of the big transistor Zenith TransOceanics. That's what I thought he meant. And then the porter brought this up, or picked this up off the floor, and I thought, whoa, that's a proper valve TransOceanic. So I immediately stuck my hand up, and I actually won it. Very pleased with myself for that, and especially as I went to the auction not wanting to buy any more radios, I ended up buying 2. Anyway, enough waffling. This has got a couple of issues. I didn't look at this before the auction. As I said, I didn't look at it during the viewing period. I just didn't know it was there. I didn't spot it. So it's got one major issue, and that is there's a crack down the front here. Now this whole bit, this is not a separate glass, unfortunately. This whole section is one plastic panel. So all of this is just one moulding. There's no way I'm going to be able to repair that unless I get a complete new front from somewhere, which is very doubtful. So all of this, the whole lot, is one moulding, and that is really annoying. I thought when I spotted it last night that this panel might press out or be fitted in the back, but no, it's one big huge moulding. So essentially I'm screwed. I'm just going to have to live with it. So it's a very nice looking radio, at least in my opinion. Aeroplane dial on it, 7 wave bands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wave bands, mainly shortwave. I particularly like the way here it's got afternoon, evening, morning, so you can, you know, choose what time of day and there should be something on a particular wave band. And those buttons probably just need a bit of working back and forth. So other than that, it's in not bad condition. Nothing you can do about this. I'm just going to have to live with that. These do have a reputation for cracking when people tighten the screws up, I believe. I've only read a little bit about them today at work, though I am familiar with them. I did know that the radio actually existed. There was a great series on the Antique Radio Forum over in the US by Joe01, who's on YouTube, and that's where I read his when he was going through it. So, you know, it's not as if I'd never seen one or heard of these. I've just never actually seen one in the flesh. It is quite dirty. This is like a oilcloth, I think you'd call it, covering, which is absolutely filthy. You've got this brass catch here, the front, which I don't think there's a little button there. I'm not sure that's working correctly. Sorry, a little catch there, stop it flying open. There might be a spring behind it or something, I'm not sure. This thing weighs a ton. I would suspect it would weigh even more with the batteries in it. So I don't know about it being a portable, but there's a nice sort of handle on the top here. And up the top there's the Zenith wave magnet, which is detachable. There's just these brass knurled nuts here. You take it off and you can stick it up on your window. There's a couple of rubber suction cups, and the fittings are inside here. So that is just basically like a loop aerial, but it just looks really nice when it's open. So I'm going to try and use some off-white paint. There's a couple of little bits where the paint's come out up here, so I'll, especially once I scrub it, I guess even more paint will come out, and I'll just use some off-white paint. If you use a white acrylic paint and you get a cup of tea, and not milky tea, just make some strong tea, and you use that as the you know, instead of water, that'll turn your pure white paint into like a dirty tea stained off-white, which is quite suitable for filling in these old numbers and letters. Anyway, let's turn it round and have a look at the back. So I haven't really had a good look. I had a sort of 10-minute look yesterday, and it is an absolute lump. It's quite heavy. You wouldn't. Let's just move the camera over a bit. There we go. Right. See, there's a finger hole there, and there's no doubt a massive great spider behind there. There isn't. Those catches work. And there's the back of it. So there's the battery valves. I'll go through those in a minute. Quite a nice looking set. Even from the back you've got this gold painted chassis here, which is in remarkable condition, not a spot of rust or anything. The original Zenith speaker, the audio output transformer up top. That's going to go down well, isn't it? Oh. I believe that is the smoothing electrolytics. I think there's 4 in there. That's going to be fun to pack out if it hasn't been done already. You look at this. This looks brand new. This bit here. It looks like a, you know, like a valve base, like a Paxton valve base. There's no staining on it at all. Right, so just going through it, you've obviously got the valves, you've got the coils here, which are being switched from the front. This thing, this tube here is the aerial, and it's absolutely massive. And there's a really interesting feature here, which I'll zoom in on a bit actually. Right, so you see this clasp thing, actually, to actually get it out, you rotate it and then you can lift it up. And it's just like a keeper. So you can't pull it up, but you just need to rotate it, which is why I couldn't pull it out last night, till I found that out. You can see the model H500 stamped there in white. Now let's just go through a few things. You've got the USA mains plug there, and that acts, there's a switch in there, so when you plug that in, that must route the battery power through. And this is the connection to the battery box, which sits in the recess down there. And there's a very nice red and black Zenith original battery that went in these that I wouldn't mind trying to get a repro of or something. I'm going to have to fill it with like 10 9-volt batteries, or you know, something like that to get it working. I'm obviously not going to be able to use it on UK mains. Let's have a look at the inside back cover. This is very, very mouldy, so I'm not really wanting to breathe that in and get near it. So you've got a ribbon aerial here, just there, and that I believe should sit in this clip here. There should be 2 of these rubber suction cups, and that's gone rock hard, so I'm really not going to try and mess with that. This clip here should hold the instruction book, which I guess is about A5 size. I think you can get reproductions of those. And this aerial should not be sitting in there. These are the spare clips. Sorry, these are clips for a set of spare valves, which I think you'd have to, you know, I don't think they actually came in that and you got a spare with it. I'm not sure. I think these are just clips, you know, in case you had some spare valves. So yeah, that is horrible. That really needs cleaning out, and I might do that straight away after I finish filming. So let's have a close look inside the set. So one of these valves is really rare and expensive in the States, and it is this one here. I think that's, is it a 1L6? I think that's what they're called, or an IL6. Let's go for 1L6. This one is particularly rare. I think they cost about $100 new. This one's got a 1L6 in it, so thankfully I don't have to go and search one of those. Although I do recall that you can put a DK92, which is very familiar and available over here, in there. Not a lot else to say. Coil box, tuning gang. You've got a couple of pulleys here for your indicator on the, your dial indicator on the front. I don't know what that red plastic thing is. I don't know what that is. It must be some sort of aerial connection, I guess. Is it? Does it pull it? Yeah. There's a Paxilin little panel there. I'm not going to pull it about too much. Right, electrolytic, IF cans, 3 tubes, which I'll check out, and it's missing a tube. Oh great, a valve, but I'm excused because you can see it's missing that one. Super duper. Now it hasn't got a rectifier valve tube in it. Can we say tubes because it's an American set? This has got a selenium rectifier in it, which I guess is under the chassis. And that's annoying. 3V4, I believe, looking at this. There's a little label on the side here. And I think, if I remember rightly, 3V4 would be equivalent to our DL94, which are readily available and quite cheap, I believe, so I'll at least need to get one of those. let me just check, and I've got my valve book there. Let's just place the camera down and have a look. Television and picture tubes. DL94. There we go. So yeah, a DL94 is equivalent to the Marconi N19. You can find those, in fact I might have one of those, 3V4. So I can easily find a replacement for that. And there's the DK92. It 1R5. No, it's the wrong one. X18. So we can probably, you know, if any of these valves are dodgy, and they look brand new actually, but if any of those, and sorry for leaving you with a shot of that mouldy back cover, these valves look fairly new actually, fairly clean, and I just wondered if, especially this one, so it looks like we can replace the valves, certainly if they're worn or the filaments have gone. This is a series strung set, although the chassis is not live, unlike a British set. They've got a separate negative bus for the return of the current. Yeah, very interesting set this. I'm really pleased I got this. Right, that's enough of me waffling, and no doubt you can comprehend my lack of knowledge on these, because I don't know a lot about them. Never taken one apart. I'm still looking for a date. If any of my, I'm not sure if I read that out, but if any of my American viewers know how to date these, the chassis number is 208 0. Let me just get a torch in case that's 8 is a 6. Right, it's 208 0687 208 0687. I don't know how to date this. I can't see any date marks on it. Someone on the internet mentioned theirs was painted on the or stamped on the inside with like the exact date, but I can't see anything on here. Right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit, because I don't like the thought of breathing that in, or even it being in the house. So I'm going to take it outside and see if I can brush this off at least and give it a wash, because it just looks nasty. And then this is going to go to one side for a while until I research some bits and at least get a new audio output tube, and then we'll see where we go from that. I notice on the corners there is some damage to the cabinet. It looks like a couple of the glue box have failed. I don't know if you can see that, but this top is slightly bowed, and it looks like the glue block has come away from that. So you've got a slot, by the look of it, you've got like a tenon or a slot milled into the side here, which this bit slots into, and then there's a glue block underneath, and it looks as if it needs a good old clamp up. And the same on this side there. That glue block looks as if it, let's just see a gap. See a gap up here. It looks just looks as if it might have been dropped or banged or something, which may be how the front got cracked actually. Right, I've waffled on long enough now. Let's just have one last look at that lovely front. And this is a big old girl. Let me just show you the top here. So you've got these arms here that hold the front. like this. You see how it lifts up? It's the handle, and this, and that's the little catch. And I'm assuming there should be some sort of spring behind that. And there's the wave magnet. Right, and there's the dial in front of the set. There we go. Let's drop it down. Really nice. It's a little bit stiff, that, but of course these are quite dirty and will need polishing. But yeah, I'm very pleased with myself for getting this. It's going to be one hell of a set, but it is about as big as one of our big valve radios. Now if I'll just switch you around the side here, I'll show you a ginormous British valve set. This is the Pi PE80. Are you ready for this? This is the Pi PE80, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bands on it. Let's just switch my light off a minute. Oh, it's the overhead light. Let me come down. There we go. That's the Pi PE80. Now that is one hell of a set. It's got a 10-inch speaker in it. I'll show you it going one day. But that is a big valve set. And this Zenith is not much smaller. It's huge. Right, thanks for watching, and obviously lots more to come, including this one and that National Panasonic DR28, and I might even learn how to use that Polar T1500. Thanks for watching.